Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is our third episode, Marine Rider Podcast. The first one we did with Bullwinkle, and then we did the second one with the remote podcast with Dale Lyons, the independent duty corpsman. And today we have another one, special guest here, one of the Marine Riders, Richard Guns in our club, Scott. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We're going to go over Guns' career. He did 21 years in the United States Marine Corps.
Hoorah.
Flying in helicopters, was in Somalia before Blackhawk down, and we'll get into that later on. But we got some more, a bunch of stuff to talk about before that. We will be celebrating Marine Corps birthday, November 8th. If anybody's in the area wants to come on by and celebrate with us, we'd love to have you. Okay, without further ado, here's Guns. So, man, 21 years. You're actually the reason that I joined the Marine Riders. This guy got me into it. We used to work together back in the day, and I knew he was a Marine. And he told me, he said, you were a Navy corpsman. You can join. So, here we are a few years later.
Nick and Bear got me to join. They were after me for a good 5 years.
Were they?
Yeah, and I kept putting it off because, I didn't want to go through any prospect bullshit.
Sure.
And Nick kind of said, well, look, everybody has to go through it. It's not that big a deal. I said, well, I don't know if I want to watch people's bikes and shit. And he goes, no, it's not like that. He says, I already got your road name picked out. I'm like, what's that? He goes, Guns. I said, where do I sign? Where do I sign? That's a cool name right there.
Yeah.
Not as good as Bullwinkle, but
but he's big as an ox. You know what I mean? So there it is. So let's go back to the beginning. Guns. When were you born? What was your childhood like? Your parents?
Yeah, had parents.
Mom and dad. Yeah, obviously.
One of each. So I was born in a little town. It's called Upland, Pennsylvania. It's just very south, minutely south of Philadelphia. And it's a cool little town. Very patriotic. Parades every Memorial Day, and people got out there, marched and prayed. And I did it all through Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, riding our bikes with the red, white, and blue stuff on the bikes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a cool little town to grow up in.
So now you were telling me earlier, this was like late 50s, early 60s,
Yeah,
it's different time, different era.
I was born in 53. So.
53,
Yeah.
So all that time in there. So you told me it was a town that only had like 12 streets in it, very small.
Well, the numbered streets, it had streets going this way and that way.
Uh-huh.
It didn't. Once you reached up past 10 or 12 or something like that, then you were starting to get into the next town.
Yeah, and that's where you went to school at, was in the next town, like?
No, I went to school. We had our own elementary school.
Okay.
But we didn't have a high school. We got bused to a high school.
But that's when you got busted away.
Yeah, 9 miles away.
Okay. Did you play any sports or anything when how were you as a student? How were you as a student?
I sucked.
Okay, all right.
But, I always passed tests.
Uh-huh.
I was good at taking tests.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I was just playing law of averages or something.
It probably helped you later on in the Marine Corps.
I never paid any attention to school. I
Right.
could care less. In high school was even worse. I started finding girls and stuff.
Sure. Play any sports? Or were you into hot rods or?
No, I had a nice car.
Yeah.
And during Little League, we had a 65-pound team and all that kind of stuff in our town. And the athletic association basically paid for everything. Uniforms, pads, the whole deal, It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my coaches, Jerry McClintock, he had a lot to do with me coming into the Marine Corps because he went in the Marine Corps during Vietnam.
Okay.
And he made, on his third trip, he got killed. So, that's all I could think about. It was like, I'm going to go over there and kill every one of these people,
Mm-hmm.
Killed my coach.
Now, this was your what, baseball coach?
Football coach.
Football coach,
Yeah.
Little League football coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of planted the seed.
And that was probably in the early parts of the war, in the early 60s, mid 60s?
No, this is This was, I'd say late 60s, very early 70s.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving along into there. So that's what planted the seed for you to join the Marine Corps?
That's what I can trace it back to, yeah. I think so.
Okay. Okay. So then graduated high school? No?
Yeah, I got around to that.
Yeah.
I got a diploma.
Yeah. You were telling me about there was this chaplain, this priest in your town that then you reconnected with, and we'll get to that later on in life, but who was he in your early upbringing?
He was always there. I mean, he always looked out for us and stuff, you know, and they had like an auditorium attached to this church, and when I started getting older, we were all trying to be musicians. We put bands together and stuff, and we'd go over there and we'd all be 15, 16 playing in bands for these Friday night things that they had going on. Yeah.
So this is where you got your love of guitar, right?
No, I got that from birth from my mom and dad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they both played.
Okay, so how old were you when you first started playing?
Well, when I was learning, I was probably about 8 or 9, because my dad would go to sleep. I'd pick his up and try to memorize what his fingers were doing when he was making certain chords.
That's cool.
So it just kind of went on from there.
That's very cool.
Then, yeah.
And so then, so after we get done with high school, how long do you wait to go into the Marine Corps? Or do you go in right away?
Yeah,
or?
I actually wanted to. I wanted to try to see what life was all about.
Uh-huh.
You know, try to get different jobs, or, you know, that whole thing. And then I didn't go into until I was 20.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't go into later too, as well.
So I joined the Marine Corps when I was 20. That was in 73. November 18th is when I went to boot camp.
November 18th of 73.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so when you went, and so you'd worked for a couple of years, job here, job there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And said, fuck all this, I'm joining the Marine Corps.
Not necessarily in those words, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I went on a buddy plan with this guy, Richie Peterson. And we were sitting there one day, and I told him, I said, you know what, man? I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. He goes, what? I said, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. I said, get the hell out of here. And he didn't know that I had already been to the recruiter and was talking.
Uh-huh.
And that's another story. I went the recruiting office in Chester, which is the town right next to ours, had all the branches in it.
Okay, let's talk about this. Yeah, go on.
So I had a job on second shift that my girlfriend's brother got me.
Okay.
And it was at the shipyard where they would retrofit ships, sometimes work on Navy ships, but mostly like oil tankers and stuff. And I was a sheet metal mechanic.
Okay.
And truthfully, I was pretty good.
Okay.
Because I had an aptitude for not geometry, but figuring out angles and how to, you know, every test I ever took in school, they always say you got mechanical aptitude.
Okay.
But I would work nights at the shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first went to the recruiting office, I went to join the Navy.
Okay.
So I got in recruiting. I figured it was just
Nothing against the Navy, by the way.
It was a natural. To me, you know, I'm thinking like, well, you know, I know what working on ships is like. I've been doing it now for a year
Sure.
or two.
Yeah.
So I show up, and you know, naturally the Navy's not there because they're probably at a lunch special someplace, you know, putting a feed bag on.
Oh, okay.
And there's this Marine Corps. I think he was a staff sergeant at the time. His name was Dick Gillen. And he's standing in the doorway. He goes, "What are you doing?" So look like I'm doing.
Bingo.
Trying to talk to the Navy. They're not here. He goes, "Yeah, they don't spend a lot of time around." I said, "Really? Then why don't you come in and talk to me?" He said, "We're a department of the Navy." I said, "Oh, okay."
Oops. Yeah, the men's department. Yes, that's the hook.
So he gave me my tests and everything like that. He goes, you know, he says, you can pretty much do anything you want. You got really good grades and stuff. And I says, all right, well, let me think about it. He goes, well, ain't much to think about. Well, I said, well, of course, I can understand you saying that. But, you know, I'll go home. I'll talk to my dad and everything, you know. So that was the night I was talking to my buddy Rich Peterson. I said, "I'm gonna go join the Marine Corps."
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do that for? I said, "Well, I don't know. I mean, they say it's the toughest branch and all this stuff, you know. So if I'm gonna fail, I'd rather fail at the toughest branch than wash out, you know, some army thing or whatever, you know."
Yeah.
And I mean that affectionately, with all the respect. But anyway, so he goes, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it too."
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little pat on the back for dragging him in.
Yeah. So you went in on the buddy program, but you got a pat on the back, and that's about it.
Well, he got dropped because he needed some dental work. So we were about 3 weeks in, and they,
Ditched him.
yeah, he had to go back through the next cycle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because suddenly I'm like, fuck, man, now I'm all by myself.
Oh yeah, you went in on the buddy program, and that lasted about 3 weeks, huh?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go to boot camp? San Diego or Paris Island?
Paris Island.
You went to Paris Island.
They got one in San Diego.
That's what they tell me. I don't know. I went through Great Lakes, so you know. So you went to Paris Island.
Yeah.
And what was that?
73.
73. Okay. Got any boot camp stories? How was it when you first put your feet on the yellow footprints?
Well, it was more on the bus than it was the yellow footprints.
They came on the bus screaming, right?
Yeah, and that's pretty much you had that fleeting thought of what the fuck did I just sign? This man's crazy.
This man yelling at me is
Why
crazy.
is he screaming? So.
Yeah. That's cool. So then, how was boot camp for you? Was it a piece of cake, or was it a little bit hard? I mean,
no.
was it a bitch?
The physical stuff was not really that difficult.
'Cause you're
I was in
pretty
fairly good shape.
Yeah.
You know, but
And you're what, 20?
yeah.
Then you can run like a gazelle, I imagine.
Well, I wouldn't call it a gazelle, but I was the only squad leader that never got fired.
In boot
camp. Yeah.
Oh, you're squad leader.
I was squad leader because I was tall.
Uh-huh.
They line you up in the beginning,
Right.
and I was pretty much, I guess, taller than anybody else in my squad. So. But I was the only one that never got fired, so
Okay.
pat on my back. But yeah, it was interesting. But when it comes, I used to have, I won't say I had a problem, but I would struggle sometimes with memorizing a lot of the shit that we had to memorize.
Like the general orders
All
and
that.
stuff like that
Yeah,
you
and
forgot, 2 years later.
And I still have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't remember shit half the time, and that's not just because I'm old. I think.
Yeah. Well, let's back up a second. So we're talking about you going through boot camp, but the contract that you went in on, like, did you do a 4-year contract?
No,
or
I had aviation guarantee.
Okay, so you got an aviation guarantee. So how many years did you have to give up to get that aviation
It was
guarantee?
a 4-year contract.
It was a 4-year contract, but you had aviation guarantee that you were going to go to aviation school after you got done with boot camp.
Correct.
Yeah, just like I had corpsmen lined up after boot camp. Anyway, let's go on. Where were we? So you had guaranteed aviation school after you got out of boot. You made it through as the only squad leader, graduated, and then where do you go to aviation school at? I'm assuming that's next, right?
Well, there's something that happened like after boot camp. I went back home for your 30 days.
You got your 30 days leave.
So I stopped in to see my recruiter, and he goes, "Hey, how would you like to spend an extra 45 days home as my recruiter's assistant?" And I'm like, "Bet, let's do that." You know.
So you stayed home for another 45 days.
Yeah. So he took me up to this place in Philadelphia. It was a big military complex, and I got some dress blues.
Right out of boot?
I didn't win them in boot.
Yeah.
I wasn't an honor man.
Okay.
But
I mean, when you did the recruiting thing.
yeah, I got dress blues and stuff. And then I said to him one day, because we'd go out and do different things. He'd take me with and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then I said to him, "Hey, do you have a problem if I go back to my high school and see if they'll let me talk to people that might want to go in. He goes, hell no, go ahead, you know. So they announced that, hey, anybody want to talk to a Marine Corps recruiter, you know, be in the gym this time, whatever. And like 20 people showed up, and I knew most of them, you know. So I was talking to them and shit, and I'm sitting there in my, you know, dress blues, tennis shoes, light coat of oil on top.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
And I wound up putting 6 kids in boots.
And you hadn't even been to A school yet, if they called it A school then.
I haven't been anywhere.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Well, you know, got to remember though, that whole area was kind of economically depressed in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, we grew up dirt poor, you know, like pretty much everybody else. So that was one way out for them guys too.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
But yeah, man, I got promoted to Lance Corporal for putting them 6 guys in, just like that. Boom,
boom.
So when I showed up to my first school, my A school.
So that's E2, right? Lance Corporal's E2.
No.
Because what's that called? An E2. E2. Somebody's going to fact check us. We'll fact check that later on.
No, private is E1.
Okay.
PSC is E2. Lance Corporal is E3.
So you made. Okay. All right.
See, that part of my memory.
Nah, there we go. There we go. So after your 45 days is up, doing this with the recruiter, then you go to aviation school?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
It's down near Memphis. It's called Millington, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Now, I didn't know you weren't supposed to drive your car.
Okay.
So I drove my car there.
Uh-huh.
And by the time I showed up, it was night. And there was a corporal and a Lance Corporal at the front gate. And, you know, I showed up, and the girl goes, I think she was a Lance Corporal or something. She goes, so do you have orders? I said, yeah, I'm here. It was raining out and shit. Just, okay, well, let me get a sticker for you, put it on your car.
Uh-huh.
Now, number one, we weren't even supposed to have cars, and I didn't know that until like 2 days later. So here we are next to, it's about a 25, 30-minute ride maybe to downtown Memphis.
Uh-huh.
So I charge these guys $20 a piece to run them into Memphis.
While you're going through aviation school, right? Yeah. Because if it's anything like any of the other schools, it's like a Monday through Friday school, and then you have the weekends off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. You got your little cab service going on.
Right, Uber.
You're Uber way before Uber, man. So you get there. How long is this school? Like 12 weeks?
You know, I don't even remember.
3-4 months, and stuff like that. They usually are.
It was probably about, I think it was about the same amount of time as boot camp.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't go anywhere, so I didn't really give a shit. You know?
Right.
When it's over, it's over.
Right, right. So was that just basic aviation stuff? Like, what kind of stuff did they talk about? Like,
just basic, you know, flight controls, hydraulics, that kind of stuff. You know, that they would teach you the different components of the flight control system, and you know, just in generalities. They a lot of the stuff that you were looking at was actually done on like A4s, like fixed wing.
Okay.
Wasn't a whole lot of, and so I thought, okay, I'll be working on jets. You know? So when that was over, I got sent to New River, what they call TME, where you spend 6 months with an active squadron.
Now, did you want to go on? Did you want to go on helicopters specifically?
I didn't know what I wanted.
Okay.
And frankly, I didn't really know what the Marine Corps had.
Okay, so when you went to this aviation school, they sent kids there to work on all kinds of aircraft, not just helicopters, right? Your aviation school, like, well, they could be jet mechanics.
The systems are a lot alike. You know, back then anyway. Now they got fly-by-wire and stuff, but back then, hydraulics connected to flight control rods and things like that. So fundamentally, it wasn't much difference between a hydraulic system on a jet, and a hydraulic system on a helicopter.
Okay.
So the principles are there.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you about, you know, it's kind of just basic stuff. So from there, they sent me to New River, on the East Coast, North Carolina.
New River, North Carolina.
That's a helicopter base.
Okay.
So I'm like,
here we go.
What's going on? And I was working on A4s in school now. I got helicopters.
Now, how long did you end up staying there?
6 months.
You were there for 6 months. Okay.
So
And what do you learn when you're there? What do you do?
you go out with guys that are already trained and stuff. You go out and kind of mirror them or shadow them, and they teach you stuff on. Now I went to 261, which is a 46 squad.
A 46 being for our listeners.
Helicopter.
Okay.
Like
Two rotor, right?
one in front of the other,
Right.
long one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked on that. And that was a pretty interesting time because even though you're still a nugget, in your mind you're starting thinking, hey, this is pretty good. I'm actually in the Marine Corps now working on helicopters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also the time when Vietnam was winding down and a lot of people was coming back from Vietnam. And there was also a lot of tension between whites and blacks
Mm-hmm.
during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember being, I'm here on the Lance Corporal and in the chow hall, and the black guys would come in and they'd do this dapping stuff up the whole line, the whole chow line. So now you got all these white rednecks like, we knock that shit off. We're trying to get something to eat. We're gonna get, and then all the fighting starts. And so we just dive under the table,
Uh-huh.
MPs would come in and break it up. But I was there on my 21st birthday, and I didn't have too much to do at Sergeant Major. I was always told this, don't give him any reason
To notice you.
put his eyes on you, stay squared away, do your job, stay out of trouble. So we were down at Atlantic Beach, which is kind of closer to Cherry Point, I guess, but my birthday, I'm shooting it up, having a good time, getting drunk.
Yeah.
And they had this bar that the doors would open up and the beach was right there.
Mm-hmm.
So all I had on was a bathing suit because I kept going in the water. There's a couple other guys we were hanging out with, just having a good time and shit. We're getting drunker. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked in to get another drink. This guy starts giving me bullshit. So I punched him.
Uh-huh.
And then it started. And for some reason, it elevated to this big brawl where people were coming out of the fucking woodwork and just clubbing everybody,
Uh-huh.
So next thing I know, the cops are sweeping around the corner like this, right? And I find myself in the Atlantic Beach jail in my bathing suit with about 25 other guys.
Okay. Sexy,
And
huh?
it's 2 o'clock in the morning. These guys are pissing on the floor
Oh, yeah.
because there's a drain there.
You got no shoes on, no
Nothing.
socks, no
Nothing.
shirt, just
cold. So
Oh.
they put us in a cop car.
nipply. Oh,
No,
yeah.
I didn't have no pasties.
No? Okay.
No, they put us in a cop car. Next thing I know, I'm in Beaufort County Jail, the big jail. So now the same 20 guys are in a little bit bigger cell. All right. So
And you and your, that was
my Speedo, baby. My banana hammock.
Yeah, here we go. Bring out the good times.
Yeah, I didn't catch no winks or nothing.
Okay,
But-
well, that's good.
Next thing I know, here comes a guard, and my sergeant major's standing there.
Oh, we're getting back
And
to the sergeant meeting.
he's pointing to this guy. He goes, "That's him over there," and it was his son. His son was in the fight with me. I didn't even know his son. But I knew that was my sergeant major, and I'm like, "Sergeant major, sergeant major."
This gets better, yeah. Yeah.
He goes, "Give me that asshole too." So we're riding. It was a long ride back
I bet.
from the jail to New River.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, I had to go up front of CO. CO says, "You're not getting off on the wrong foot, are you?" I said, I might be. And he says, "Okay." He said, "Well, you're going to have to go up there go to court. He said, we got you a lawyer and all that kind of stuff. He says, I know how these things work. You know, he says, they're going to wind up dropping charges on you, but I'm going to restrict you for a month to the barracks. And Sergeant Major, he goes, oh, trust me, you're going to be one field day motherfucker. Thank you very much. You know? So
that was your 21st birthday, huh? Yeah, so you're in North Carolina then, huh? You said you did 6 months there.
Yes.
Okay, and so then you're pretty much shadowing dudes, and you're learning the craft, the trade.
Yeah, but right next to my squadron, I think I was on like lunch. I was just walking around looking at stuff. Next to my squadron was a 53 squadron, which was the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew chief was in there kind of straightening it up. And I'm standing at the bottom of the steps. I said, do you mind if I think I thought he was a pilot because he had a flight suit on. You know, I didn't know shit from Sean Old.
Uh-huh.
I said, sir, do you mind if I take a look in there? I said, nah, come on. You know, I probably had TME flashing on my forehead, like, so he knew. And I remember looking at this sucker. I looked in the cockpit and everything. I could stand up in this thing without, because I was 6'2".
Uh-huh.
And I happened to turn and look at the aft section of that. And across the back, it says, vehicles turn left. And I looked at this guy. You put trucks in this thing? He goes, yeah, Jeeps and stuff like that. I'm like, holy shit.
Uh-huh.
That's what I want to do.
Uh-huh. And that's when you knew, huh?
Yeah. So when I left there, I went to Willow Grove, Pennsylvania.
Now, what is that?
It's a reserve base.
Okay.
So we train reservists to fly and work on helicopters.
You're okay.
So that's a four-year thing. So I checked in there. My mom drove me 26 miles from my house to check in, bless her heart.
Okay.
So we get there early in the morning. I go to S1. I'm here to check in. And I'm looking out the window and I don't see any 46s.
Uh-huh. That's the helicopters.
Where's the 46s?
Uh-huh.
And the 46s, what are you talking about? I said, I just spent 6 months learning 46s. You got 53s after us. That's what you're going to be working on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That worked.
The 53s are the ones you just walked into and they said, vehicles turn left, turn right.
So when my mom was taking me up, I realized I forgot to get something that I wanted to get. So I checked in, sent me to the barracks. You know, I'm over there meeting people and talking and stuff. And one of the guys goes, hey, you want to get a beer? I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he's got a car.
Uh-huh.
And I says, hey, man, if I give you $20, can you run me back to my house? I says, it's about an hour and a half away. I forgot something. Yeah, I can do that. So here it's nighttime, about 9 o'clock. I walk in my house, my mom goes,
what are you doing here?
pretty much. But I just thought of something else though. If I
Mm-hmm. Go right ahead.
When I was on the recruiting duty thing,
Uh-huh.
I remember I went home and I was watching TV. I was kind of laying on the couch watching TV because I was living back in my house at that time. My dad comes home from work. He goes, Jesus Christ, I sent you off the Marine Corps so you wouldn't be laying all over my couch. And I come home and you're in the Marine Corps and you're laying all over my couch. So.
All right. There you were for a minute, huh?
There I was. So anyway, Willow Grove's pretty cool. Yes.
Willow Grove's, the reservists.
Mag 49.
So now you're going to be on 53s, which was your dream anyway, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was in the hydraulic shop, which deals with landing gear, blade fold, flight controls, things like that. Right? And I always thought it'd be cool to be a crew chief, but I was thinking the only way you can be a crew chief is if you have a mechanic
experience.
MOS. I didn't. I had a hydraulics MOS.
Okay.
So they have what's called an ATOPS evaluator.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking to him one day. He was a staff sergeant. I think by now I think I was a corporal.
So now, how long had you been at this point? Are you still in your first 4? You're still in your first 4.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I'm about a year in by now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm talking to him, and I says, man, it must be pretty cool to be a crew chief. You go out there, get the bird ready, go flying. He says, that's pretty cool. It's a lot of work though. And I said, yeah, but I'm a hydraulics. There's no way I can do it. He says, oh no. He says, if you do your job during the day, and then you want to start the syllabus, you do it on your own time. After hours or whatever, work with the other crew chiefs and stuff. If you do the syllabus, you could be a crew chief. And he says, actually, hydraulics, supposedly because of their inner workings with hydraulics and avionics, and like servos and stuff, he says, you guys make pretty good crew chiefs. We had a lot of them in Vietnam and stuff. And I'm like, that,
No, I'm gonna learn this.
That's what I did. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing it because I wound up in maintenance control pretty much for a good portion of my career, which isn't bad either. But it was pretty cool when I was doing it.
So you went through this servo training?
No, syllabus.
So
yeah.
Okay.
It's just like a roadmap, things you got to complete before you can get certified.
And how long does this take you?
It took me about 8 months.
8 months?
Total, yeah.
Okay.
Now they send them off to a special school just for air crew. Everything is completely different now.
Sure. So after you go through this, do you get stationed somewhere else as a crew chief, or do you stay there as a crew chief?
No, I pretty much stayed there. And when my 4 years was up, I had got orders to go to Hawaii.
That's on your second one. Okay, so let's back up a second. So you get through this training to be crew chief. What was it like the first time you went flying in one of those?
Well, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The first time crewing it, you're a nervous wreck.
Right.
Did I look the plane over good? Did I do a pre-flight? Did I miss anything?
You're so busy doing that.
Because you got to sign a book. When you get done looking it over, you go in, you review the maintenance book and stuff, and then you sign it. That's the crew chief saying,
we're good to fly.
We're good to go. But you're a nervous wreck.
Yeah. So then you're a crew chief there for...
Well, I still was a hydraulics.
You were still doing the hydraulics as well.
So I, like a night flight or something, if somebody didn't want to do it, I'd take it.
Right. That's cool. So that takes you up your first enlistment?
Pretty much.
And then from there you re-enlist. And I
didn't re-enlist till I got to Hawaii.
Okay. So you got transferred?
Yeah.
And then you re-enlisted?
Yeah,
okay. Eventually. Okay. So what was your time on Hawaii? You do 4 years there?
I got there in 77, left in 81.
Yeah.
Early 81, yeah. But I did two Westpacks out of there on ships.
You did 2 Westpacks on ships. How being in aviation, talk to me about that. How'd you do that?
What do you mean?
Did you have, what kind of ships were you on when you did your Westpacks?
Amphibious ships.
Amphib ships?
LHA, LPHs.
Okay.
We're the reason those ships exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, we're there to help them guys out. They're there to get us where we need to go and
absolutely.
Man the decks for our training on the way over. Because you're constantly at flight ops pretty much the whole time across the ocean.
The whole time across the ocean, you guys are doing training ups, flying out, and stuff like that.
Just swapping parts and doing your normal job. It's not like there's a Lido deck or anything.
What's a Lido deck?
On a cruise ship.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. You're right. No, I know.
Around with a flowered shirt, drinking Mai Tais and shit.
Sure. So what else? Talk to me about your Hawaii experience.
Well, I was married, but
you were married by this point.
I was too young to be married.
Yeah. Did you meet your first wife in Hawaii, or was
it
in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was a Marine. So we got married so we could live off base. We didn't have to live in the barracks.
Right.
So
and you got that extra housing money. Remember housing money?
A marriage of convenience.
Yeah,
but it didn't work out. So.
Yeah.
And that's right after my first Westpac is when I re-enlisted.
Okay. All right. So then when you re-enlisted, what after that? Continued on in Hawaii?
Yeah, and then I got orders back to Willow Grove again because I had experience working with reservists. So I did another 4 there. Actually, I only did 3 there because there was a gunny who, in my opinion, was a complete dick, if I might say that.
Yeah, you're fine.
He didn't care for me that much, and he actually called my monitor. The monitor is the one that gets you your orders and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Plugs in all the people in the right holes. Called him and said, "Well, this guy, you got to get him out of here. Send him to a squadron that's going to go to Okinawa or something like that."
Yeah.
So they sent me to California at 363.
What did you
Which
talk about?
I wound up doing 2 tours with those guys.
Yeah. What was it? 363?
363. Good on, baby. Good on.
Right on. Now, where was that in California? That was in
Tustin.
Tustin.
Santa Ana area, Orange County.
Orange County.
7 miles from El Toro.
From El Toro. It's Orange County. Okay, so that's just north of Pendleton. Excuse my ignorance.
This way north.
Way north of Pendleton. Cool. And you just did more flight training out of there?
Well, I was done flying by then.
Yeah.
So the first half when I was there, I was pretty much in the hide shop,
What's the hide shop?
hydraulics.
Okay.
And the last half of that, I was back in maintenance control.
Okay.
Which was fine by me.
So you're now, at this point, you're on what? On your second? Are you on your third enlistment?
My third came during that time.
During that time. And by this time, you're what? E5, E6?
E6.
You're an E6.
I was an E6 in Hawaii during my first float. I picked up rank pretty quick because a lot of the guys coming back from Vietnam were getting out.
Uh-huh.
So they're leaving holes.
Right. The billets that need to be filled.
Exactly. And back up. A lot of the guys that I met would come back from Vietnam. I met at Willow Grove when I was like a corporal.
Uh-huh.
And they would teach me the book, how to fix something by the book. And we get out the bird to work on it. He goes, "Now this is the way we do it."
This is where you really do it.
So you have 2,
Sure.
you know what I mean? And that was pretty cool. And I might have got some of my attitude from some of those guys.
Some of them old Vietnam.
They had shit attitude, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And a lot of them got right out. You know, they might have been back for a year or 2. But a lot of them, believe it or not, kept re-enlisted, even after as shitty as Vietnam was.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with a lot of those guys now. A lot of them are in their 80s.
Yeah.
You know, and we still chat. Master Guns comes up here every year.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've known him since '75.
Yeah. Sure. So let's back up on one other thing. You said you do 2 Westpacks.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, Westpacks are legendary to people that don't know. Well, Westpac is a cruise that, and you go on in the western part of the Asian area of the Pacific, and you basically port hop down on your Westpac. Did you go any interesting places?
Next question.
Yeah, we talked about that. How about the second Westpac cruise? Next question. All right, we'll bypass that stuff, man.
Yeah, the ones that have been there know.
That's
the
right.
ones that haven't, maybe need to go there. I'm sure it's all different now.
All right. So back to Willow Grove.
Yep.
But the dude didn't want you, right?
No, he was just one person.
Yeah.
Pulled some bullshit strings and got me out of there. I showed him. I went right back.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was there about a year, and it was a goat rope I had done before.
Uh-huh.
You know, called my monitor and said, "There's got to be something else." I didn't want to do recruiting, and I didn't want to do drill field.
No.
But as I'm talking to this guy, I see a poster, and it shows a drawing, a mechanical drawing of the V-22 Osprey.
Okay.
It wasn't even a plane yet. It's just like somebody's drawing of it.
The legendary
And
Osprey.
I said, hey, tell me about this Osprey. And he goes, oh, guess what? He says, you're in Willow Grove. He says, you're right near Philadelphia. I said, yeah. He says, I need your MOS and your rank in Philadelphia on this program. Do you mind doing, a tour down there on that? And I'm like, sign me up. So now I'm 5 minutes from home. Because the building, our offices, we had a whole, I think it was the 7th floor of an office building. We weren't at Boeing, the plant, although we would go there a lot. We worked with the designers and the engineers, evaluating like reams of data to check for like failure rate analysis and stuff like that, right down to nuts and bolts and washers.
So you're helping to design the Osprey?
Well, they already had the design, but we would go through these systems, and being all of us were former air crew at some point, we're also mechanics and stuff, and the maintenance control. You see every break that you could possibly get.
Where's this going to fail? That kind of stuff.
Hopefully not, but so I thought that was a pretty interesting job, and we'd go to Washington, D.C. to have briefs down there and stuff. Different, they would go to Texas because the Bell had a plant in Texas, so we'd go there to do certain things with certain schools. It was pretty interesting. And then from there, I pretty much got to pick where I wanted to go, because I still had, I hadn't made up my mind to retire at that point, so I could have done 30 more years or 20 more years out of it. And he said, well, where do you want to go? I said, send me back to California in my old squadron, 363. And shortly after I got there, we found out that we were going to start working up to go to Somalia. Okay? So I get on the phone and I'm calling all these buds that I traveled through the Marine Corps with to see if they're close to getting orders, so I could try to talk them into requesting to come there. So when we go to a place like that, I know I have people around me that you can, that I trust, I respect, I love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was able to get 3 or 4 of them over there.
Yeah, to transfer into your squadron.
Yeah. So that worked out good, and we went to Somalia.
Okay. So you guys, you floated to Somalia?
No. C5s.
C5s.
Two 53s per C5.
Okay.
It took 10 53s over there.
Okay. And so did you guys start? You told me that you guys went. Did you guys start at the airfield there outside of Mogadishu?
Well, yeah, that's the only place that the C5s could land.
Okay.
So we would pull them off the C5s, tow them way down the end where the last building was, and over time we put them all together and get the test flights out of the way, and then shortly after that we flew in them to get out of the city, so to speak.
So now, who was there when you guys got there? Was there other Marines who were already there?
Well, if there was, they were attached to something else. There was UN forces, obviously.
Yeah.
And there might have been a handful of this and that from different branches, but as far as a big contingent, I think at that point,
UN.
Yeah, well, we're all under the blanket of the UN at that point. I mean, they even tried to get us to wear those gay
blue helmets,
powder blue berets and bullshit. We weren't having it. My CO, everybody said no. I think the general said no.
That's good, man. That's good. So you said, you got them all up, you got them tested, and then you guys flew out of there because you didn't want to take mortar shell or pop shots.
Not so much mortars, more small arms fire, because there was a university at one time. Buildings looked like dormitories. That was the high ground to the airport. And you know, you'd hear crack, you know, they're out there taking pot shots because they're all high on that
Caught.
yeah, that kind of shit. To my knowledge, no one actually got hit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably because they couldn't
shoot for shit.
They didn't go to Marine Corps boot camp, I'll tell you that.
Nice. So for that reason, you move them all. You were telling me you flew them all out 50 miles away,
Yeah,
approximately.
Approximately.
And to what town did you say it
It
was?
wasn't even a town. It might have been. It was an old abandoned Russian Air Force base or something.
Okay.
And we operated out of there because it was a short hop if you had to go in town for something.
Sure.
You know, we did a lot of missions, flew a lot of hours, carried a lot of cargo, a lot of troops.
Uh-huh.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. You were telling me about your pallet, the skinny pallet bar.
Yeah. So we lived in tents. We had no amenities whatsoever, and all of us staff NCOs were in one tent. And we had a day crew, night crew thing, so it's just 12 on, 12 off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're at work during the day, you know, my partner over here, Bob St. Germain, he built us a little patio outside our tent.
Uh-huh.
Camo netting over it, built a nice little floor. This is all out of pallets. He built furniture, a table. I think he had a camel skull where they put a candle on top of it and stuff.
Nice.
We'd get care packages from back home, 6-pack or 2. You know, we'd take maybe 2 cans, stick it in a sock, soak the water, sock in water, and hang it up so the breeze during the day drops the temperature, like I said, to a frigid 85 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And that was cold. So we called it Skinnies, which is a
Skinny's was the name of your little hut bar, your pallet bar.
it's a moniker for the Somalis themselves due to their physical nature.
Right, that they were skinny. Didn't you tell me one time years ago at the pawn shop that you guys threw MREs over the wall and they threw them back because they were so bad or something like that?
Yeah, that was like the second or third day where we're still. I don't even.
You're still on the airstrip?
You were still on the airstrip, and behind where we were working was a big wall, and just on the other side is where all the bad guys were.
Down.
You could hear them. You know, the first 2 nights, all you heard was, you know, they're over there shooting up the place, you know. So we were eating MREs, and I had like a field desk, and I had a cardboard box on the floor. And one of the most nastiest things in there is called a maple nut cake. We used to call it maple butt cake. But I noticed one night that this box was filling up with a lot of these maple fucking butt cakes or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were briefed even before we went over there, do not feed the skinnies. Do not give them, because there's too much nutrients and stuff in our food.
That's
because they haven't really been eating anything. It'll probably kill them. So I'm looking at this box and I'm looking at this wall one night, and I took that box and I slung these fucking things over the wall.
Yeah.
I figured that's one good way to
get rid of them. Yeah.
So the next morning, I think there was like 20 something. The next morning, I happened to look out there, and there's like 10 of these things back on our side of the wall. I mean, they're so nasty. Like starving
people,
starving Africans don't even want to eat them. You know what I mean?
You're at this old Soviet air base. You said there was Army guys out there?
They showed up a little bit later. Yeah.
They show up a little bit later. Now, how long is this deployment for? Is it like a 10-month deployment?
No,
Somalia or what?
This is like one of those.
6 months?
It didn't turn. I don't even think it turned out to be 6 months, because once the Army got there and started filling the missions that we were doing,
then you guys could.
we could get out of there.
Right.
which was like none too soon for me.
Right. Yeah, because it's what 100+ degrees.
It's like 125 in the shade most days.
125 in the shade most days, and
Makes you cranky.
I believe me, I've been on field exercises, man. You think you're gonna lose your mind from the heat, you know? No, not even a fan, you know. So you're there for that, and then the Army shows up, and they're out at the Soviet airfield. They come out there, and that's when you meet up with them, or something you were saying?
Yeah, I thought it was time to get down there and meet my counterpart. And I get down there and I said, well, "Where's your maintenance chief at?" You know, pointed to this really nice looking trailer, and this whole place was nothing but nice looking trailers. So I knocked on the door. "Hey, come on in." And introduced myself. He said, "Hey, have a seat." You know, and I'm sitting there freezing my nuts off. It's probably only 72 degrees, man, but I'm not used to that.
Because they had air conditioning.
Yeah.
The army, and it was a trailer.
There's a bunch of trailers. Like
They were living in tents. I'm sure y'all were living in tents
we
and
were
stuff,
living
right?
in tents. Yeah.
Okay, so they got a trailer in there.
We were doing penance. So I'm sitting there talking to him and stuff, and he goes, "Hey, you want a bottle of water?" Yeah. He goes to a refrigerator, pulls out a bottle of water. I'm like, "You son of a bitch." So I started drinking it, and I could feel it on its way down. I mean, it was actually burning because I'm not used to cold water. I thought I was going to pass the fuck out.
Yeah. No, I imagine if you hadn't had anything like that in a few months, you know.
You probably laughed when I left, but you know, I mean, we're the salt of the earth down there. You know, we're making do with everything.
Yeah. So then you have it's like a turnover. Only you just turn it over with the Army, and then you guys.
Well, they were doing their missions, and we were winding up ours. So you know, it wasn't none of this hugging it up.
No, hell no.
You got it. You know.
Yeah, right.
We just got out of there as soon as we could. You know.
Sure. So then, after you get out of Somalia, what's next? What do you have left?
I had about a year left at that point, and I had already put my letter in to retire. And I just, you know, sent my second wife and my 2 kids back here to South Bend, where she was from.
Oh, Edie's from South Bend?
Huh?
Yeah, she's from South Bend.
Well, Edie is, but she's my 3rd wife.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
You forget.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, move on. Yeah.
So, my second wife, who was not virtuous, when I was over in Somalia, let's just say she was back here in California entertaining the troops.
Yeah.
You know?
Jody got you girl and going. Yeah.
And that was totally fine with me. But absence does not make the heart grow fonder. Absence makes the heart grow absent.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember that.
There's some words from a wise man, huh?
So, so after I sent them back, I had like 90 days saved up leave on the books. So I basically got, I think they call it terminal leave. I don't remember anymore.
Okay, yeah.
So I just hung around beaches for 90 days, and one day got in the car and said, "All right, let's get this over with." I drove back here so I could divorce her and get custody of my 2 kids, which was unheard of back then, but I did.
And when is this? Is this like the late 80s? 91?
94.
94? 94 is when you're getting out.
I retired in 94.
Okay. All right. Well, right on, man. That's your career, and then you went on and got how many grandbabies you got now, Gons?
14.
14 grandbabies.
One great grandbaby.
And one great grandbaby. Well, hopefully someday they'll watch this and they'll think about what a badass their great grandpa was. Guns, man.
Probably like, rolling their eyes. But it's my life, right?
Right on, man. Well, we appreciate your service, man. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
No, I've been a Marine rider for I think 9 years now,
Yeah.
and you know, one thing about the Marine Corps is that yes, it brings people together from all different parts of the country and stuff, but you know, there's always a common thread with everybody, and it could be, you know, you come from dirt poor existence like I did. I mean, I know of 2 or 3 guys that are in the riders here that grew up like that too. So you know, you find yourself amongst other people that grew up like that. You know, and it's like, hey, I ain't all that bad after all. It wasn't just me. You know.
Sure.
But there's some really good guys in this club, and I like the way what we do for the community in the reserve, not the reserves, but the veterans.
Yeah, what we do for veterans organizations.
That's kind of what motivated me in the first place.
Sure.
You know, and it's like anything else. There's a bunch of guys that belong to this club, and some take it more seriously than others. And you know, some show up for everything, and some barely show up. And for a while there, I barely showed up because I was busy and doing shit, you know. But it's like a family. You know, we're all brothers, but brothers disagree and brothers fight once in a while. But
Amen to that.
You're still brothers.
That's right.
You know, and you know, some people they lose sight of what the mission is, which I hope we can, you know, work on that. But other than that, I like it. I think we do good work when we get the opportunity.
I agree 100%.
And then I got all these brothers.
These are all our prior brothers. All right. There's some other ones right up there. Or Murdoch's over there.
Yeah.
You know, so this place is awesome. Yeah, thanks for your time, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Semper Fi, brother.
Semper Fi.
All right. Until next time, Semper Fi. Out.